I'm Dale Maharaj, and I'm a landowner on Prosper Ridge. I'm part of the Prosper Ridge Fuels Reduction Project and meadow restoration. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my part in this project, but before I do, a little backstory. We've been involved with fire protection and meadow restoration for a number of years. This is an aerial view of the northern end of the project. My property is the center meadow. A few years ago, Michael Evanson and Ellen Taylor chained out the brush and small trees from my meadow and part of their land. Then next, to the north, Michael Evanson did a major project taking out many trees and restoring a lot of meadow and also creating a great fire break. Inside the yellow area was pretty much all trees, and Michael Evanson, to great expense, had them removed. I burned some of the brush piles. Over the years, I've been creating a fire break along the edge of the meadow. I've been limbing up at least 15 feet, and in some cases much more. I worked in a line going around most of the meadow. I went deep into the forest, pretty much back into the old growth. I wanted to create a good fire break so that the ladder fuels would not catch the crown on fire. This forest is now in its 40th year, the second growth on this hillside, and the trees are starting to look like something. In early 2011, I turned to meadow restoration. I was worried about the increasing danger of fire and also the loss of habitat. So I cleared brush by hand and I cut down a lot of the encroaching fir trees. And that brings us to the funded project, which started in 2012. I'm only telling the story about the northern end of this project. It goes to the south and other areas on the ridge. My neighbor to the south, Frank Cox, donated money, and Ali Friedland hired Tim Cook and his machine to pluck a lot of the brush and trees and pile them, creating massive open area that was being lost. After Tim was done, I began doing limbing work. In January 2013, where you see the orange dots, I'm going to complete the fire break. When that little bit of work is done, I will have created roughly about a 3/4 of a mile fire break where the ladder fuel is at least 15 feet from the ground, and I've limbed deep back into the forest. Here you can see some of the work that Tim Cook did, and then I came in and followed up with the chainsaw. Tim was able to get pretty good-sized trees out. Some of those bigger trees in the center, I had a chainsaw down. Tim got rid of the coyote brush, and then I went and limbed. These are some pretty old trees that I took up about 20 feet. On this part of the Cox property, there are trees that are 15 to 20 years old that have encroached in the meadow. We didn't remove them all, but I began limbing them up. I went deep into this younger forest, back to the old growth. I really appreciate the work of Ellie Friedland and my neighbors to the south, where a substantial part of the project exists. This story, again, is just about my small part of the project.